BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello and welcome to episode 604 of BRB UK. I am Coleman. Hi.
I'm Rick. I probably should have waited to be introduced then.
Probably. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's not like you've done a few of these before.
No.
And
not
YouTubing
live. I've got
and
nerves
podcasting. No Dan this week. No Tim this week. Tim is sick. Dan is off on a secret doctor mission. I think that's how that works. So you're stuck with me, but we pulled in Rick from the Game Cupboard and BigRedBarrel.com.
Yeah. I got a bone to pick with you, though.
What have I done?
Oh, you've blindsided me. I was under the impression that this was a One Piece podcast. And, like, I've bought my plushies and everything. And now I've just got to sit with them here, looking strange.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
You lied to me.
Cartoons are for children.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about some video
My
games. Let's talk about some video games. Rick, good to have you on. Before we get to it, gotta say once again, new BigRedBarrel.com. Go over to there. The site's had a refresh. Things look like a website now, and they don't take a million years to load, and everything's all happy, and it doesn't set off your antivirus, and it is as it should be, and there's lots of great content on there to read at the moment.
It does look very
yes.
good. It's done a great job of that, by the way.
Thank you. It's getting there. But it's in a good state now. Anyway, let's talk about video games as we tend to do, we like to do. And Rick, I'm going to chuck you in the deep end straight away because you've been playing a game that we've been asked about last week, and you were going to put together a review this week, but we thought let's just get you on the show instead, as I've got no hosts. Yeah. You've been playing Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
Oh, I have. And I got to start this with a little caveat. I've only been doing co-op stuff. So I've done the campaign twice in co-op, and I've been doing all the co-op operations. I'm not going to touch it in single player or PvP because that's just not what I'm into. But
yeah, well, I've heard the single player experience is basically the same but more grindy.
Yeah, and you've got AI.
Yeah, you need to be playing it in multiplayer.
I like having
really.
friends who can reference 40k lore that I don't understand because I'm new to it. But
I just
it's
make
fun
as I go along.
Well, like, it is fantastic. So it takes place after the first game, which came out in I want to say 2009, 2011. It was a while ago.
It was spoken about on SG UK, I believe.
Right. It was a while ago.
They were talking about playing it on the OnLive.
Christ. But so you play as Titus again. It takes place a little while after the first one. I won't say when for the people who want to go in and be surprised.
30 minutes.
The story is fine, I guess. It's just like typical 40k stuff. You're going around looking for a MacGuffin, trying to find a person, then another MacGuffin, and then the bad guys are different, and then you fight and you try and save the world. And I didn't really follow a lot of the story because, as I said, I was playing it with friends, and we just spoke over all of the dialogue. So we were kind of just making it up as we went along. But the gameplay is absolutely fantastic. Like, as you can, if you've seen the trailers, if you're watching the video, you can see the trailers. The environments are absolutely gorgeous. Like, they've put so much time into making it look right, and it's one of the best looking games that I've seen this console generation. The combat itself is absolutely crazy. It feels like every set piece in the game was being play tested, and they were just they're just telling the devs, no, make it cooler. Make it cooler. This is quite cool, but make it cooler.
Yeah.
Like, it feels just crazy. The amount of stuff that you see kicking off in the background that suddenly ends up on your screen, like suddenly ends up within distance of your chainsword, is wild. I've been playing it on PlayStation 5. I'm doing quality mode because I watched the Digital Foundry thing on it, and they were like, do not do speed because it's not. Yeah, they said it feels like it was made for 30 FPS and then readjusted. So the performance mode on console, especially the PlayStation 5, really doesn't handle well, and you get like persistent frame drops when there's stuff kicking. Like, when it all kicks off, it'll often go like below 30. But I've been playing it on quality which is a consistent 30. I've had no frame drops, I've had no crashes, I've had nothing. It's just been absolutely fantastic to play. The single player is, well, the campaign's great because you can play with two either AI or friends. So I've been playing it with friends, and it's pretty much drop in, drop out. So whoever is hosting the game plays Titus, the lead character, the main guy from the first one, and he has two guys with him, Gadriel and Carrion, and whoever jumps in just takes the place of one of those guys. But they get their weapons layout, their weapon set up, and they get their special move. And the difficulty for the like normal setting is great. It's just enough to make you feel like you're pushing yourself and that you're about to fail, but you always bring it back. So it's kind of like a carrot on a stick. Like, oh, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. No, you're not. You're a badass, and you've just won the day. Playing it on veteran, that game is not your friend. Suddenly, you have to actually take care of your weapon loadouts, who plays what. So I was playing with a couple of friends, and we were just getting trampled, absolutely trampled. But then one of our guys found a sniper rifle. Then suddenly we had a sniper in the back. I was in the front with a melter rifle, which is basically a shotgun that fires fire. And then we had another dude in the middle with heavy bolter. So we had long range, medium, and close up. And suddenly we found that we were able to get through things because we were actually kitted out properly, and we were like talking,
Working
like
as a
communicating with
cohesive
each other.
unit.
Yeah, acting like a unit. Like weapons combat's cool. Like when you fire stuff, your guns all feel great. They all sound great. They all feel like they pack a punch. But your melee is like king for me in multiplayer. In the co-op operations, I've been playing as a bulwark, so I've got a big shield and a chainsword. But you have your health, and your health bar gets trashed like so much, so you need to find health stims. But you also have a shield, which is like 3 in the medium one. It's like 3 shield bits underneath your health bar. You get that back by executing an enemy. So when you've hit it enough, it'll stagger and flash, and it'll like go all Mortal Kombat wobbly. And you can run up to it and execute it, and that'll give you some shield back. If you knock one back, a little red target will appear over it, and you can do like a cool zoom in slow-mo shot and take it out, and that'll put it back. If you parry, so sometimes you'll see like a big blue circle on the screen, and that indicates that something's about to come and get you. If you press the parry button, you'll grab it, slam it, or cut it, whatever, and that'll give you shield back. So it pays to be aggressive, and it pays to really like pay attention to what's going on around you. And you'll find yourself being surrounded by like hundreds of Tyranids, but you're keeping your shield is down, it's at the bottom, but every now and then it'll just go up, and it goes up, and it goes up, and the enemy numbers are getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and you're like, I can do this, oh my god, what is happening? And like I did something the other night with my friend. It's on the first mission. We were doing it on like one of the higher difficulties, and we were just getting swarmed. And for a minute and a half, I was just in a mosh pit of Tyranids. They were just coming at me from all angles, and I was managing to hit them, do AoE attacks, regen my shield, hit again, regen my shield, and he was off there fighting warriors somewhere. Then eventually he comes back, and they're all gone. And the end of level stats, it came out, and it was like I killed about 500 things. So I did about 400 of them during that one scene. And we were like, how did we survive that? Yeah, it's the best co-op experience I've had since the Xbox 360 days. So
that's what I've been hearing a lot. People say it's a kind of harking back to the Xbox 360, and I don't know if it's just because gigantic space marines remind everyone of Gears of War, and it's got the dingy doomsday colors looking to it. So I don't know if they're just assuming it with the old gray and brown scale of the 360 days, but I kind of see what they mean.
And you've got a chainsaw, you got a dude in power armor, you got a chainsaw for executions, and you've got big machine guns for like gun damage. So yeah, the Gears of War was massively influenced by 40k, like
Yeah.
hugely so. So it makes sense that this is like reminiscent of the Gears of War games.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Me
I need to give it a go myself. Yeah, it does seem to be going down really well at the moment. It's $54.99 on PC. It is $59.99 on console, and that's on the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. If anyone wants to give that a go. Doing many gamer nights on it. Who's staying local with friends?
Just playing co-op with friends. I can't do local stuff, but I'm only playing with friends because I don't like playing with randoms. I don't do random pickups anymore.
I was thinking it might be a shout to jump on the old Discord and go, hey, who's a big red barrel person?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm well down for that. If anyone, if any listeners want to play, if anyone in the Discord wants to jump in and purge some Xenos scum, I am absolutely down for that because this game is so much fun.
I like the bad guys are the Tyranids in this, isn't it?
Yeah, for the first half.
Yes, which I like because that's one of the only things in Warhammer 40k I know. Because I once bought a pack of them.
I think they were my first introduction to like 40k villains as well, because in single player or in the campaign, you only play as Ultramarines, so Titus, Gadriel, and Karen. That's not his name, but he acts like one, so he's Karen. And the co-op operations is where all your customization comes in. So using in-game points. There's no like microtransactions for like buying paints and stuff. So you get EXP for clearing a level, but then you also get points that you use to level up your perks, level up your weapons, or buy paints. And then you can buy paints and decals, and you can unlock different chapters. So Blood Angels, right? They're my boys. Like Vampiric Berserk
I'm just going to nod in agreement.
Dude, Vampiric Berserk is in bright red power armor. Like, come on. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew them from Space Hulk in the 90s because my old next door neighbor used to have it. And that's where I knew Tyranids from. So I was like, no, if we're killing these, I've got to be a Blood Angel. It's the only way to do it. So the customization's quite limited to like only a few select chapters. And I know there's a season pass, so some of the other chapters and things are locked behind season pass stuff, but they have a roadmap for extra content that's coming out. So they're doing new co-op missions, they're doing a horde mode and some other stuff. None of that is locked behind the season pass. It's only the other chapters. So it doesn't affect me at all because my chapter was in the game. So I'm good.
Nitwit brings up a good question. Is there crossplay?
Yes, there is. I've been playing with friends on Xbox and PC. You can only do crossplay on campaign and co-op, though. The co-op operations, you can't do it on PvP as far as I'm aware. But that makes sense to me, because if you're on PC, you have that unfair mouse and keyboard advantage against people with the controller. So I like... Yeah, plus, you can up in your frame rates and stuff like that. So I like that. I personally like that, but I really like that the crossplay is unlocked for the PvE stuff.
Cool. All right. Well, that sounds like a recommend. Moving on, I've got to jump to my one because Tim would really want to talk about this, but he's sick. So therefore, I'm going to jump in and take advantage.
He's just cold.
He's got a cold. I've been playing Plucky Squire, which is one of Tim's one-to-watches and has annoyed me because it actually came out, which means Tim got a full streak this year of games that all came out. Yes. So if you aren't aware of this game, it's one of the Devolver Digital's ones they showed off about 2 years ago, and it gave this kind of viewpoint of top-down looking little character adventure, much like an original Legend of Zelda. But it's done inside a storybook, so the more you progress, the pages turn, and it's done in that kind of interactive comic book storybook type way, similar to say Comic Zone on the Mega Drive. Then at some point, magic jiggery pokery goes on, and you get ejected from the book into the real world outside the book. And then from that point, the game just completely changes up because you use portals to either enter the book or other pieces of paper. So when you're outside of the book, all of a sudden it's become this 3D platformer adventure game. And then when you're inside the book, it's the Zelda thing. However, there's different game modes. Like very early on, you get introduced to essentially Punch Out, where you're fighting a honey badger, and then the game also then changes up in the real world because you can enter into not just books but other pieces of paper. So you might enter into a child's drawing, or there's the one of the examples I was looking at today. It's a like a box fort that has some wraparound paper on it that's done for a decorative effect. So it really changes up the game a lot, and how you can play. And it's one of the things that I was really kind of excited about, because the whole like, oh, it's the real world, it's the book. Well, initially just the book stuff. I was like, oh, this style looks really nice. I like this. That's kind of catching my eye. I might try it out somewhere down the line. And then as soon as you're out of the book, I went, oh, that's a cool gimmick. And then the more trailers came out, the more they were kind of showing the kind of mini game stuff and the way that the gameplay changes it up. And that's what hooked me in, that I had to play this on day one. And I'm doing this on the Steam Deck, which I know a lot of people are. This is where my issues came in a bit, but it was only because I didn't mess around with the settings of the game itself. I just booted it straight into, because it's got Steam Deck verification. They were celebrating that before the game came out. Boot it up, immediately starts working. Excellent. This looks lovely. I'm playing it. But the problem is with these kind of games is they don't look particularly taxing when they are. So I was playing this game and not realizing, because I've got my headphones in, how much of a noise is coming out of the machine, and also how much of my battery is just getting eaten away, because the Steam Deck can run it at epic settings, graphic settings, but you just watch that battery tick down and down super quick. Yeah, as soon as I hit the outside world from the book, I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. So I've gone back in and changed the settings to medium. Can't even tell that I've changed it to medium, but that seems to have fixed things with the battery. But that was quite an alarming thing.
How's the transition to the real world on medium settings? Like, how does that?
The real world stuff, absolutely fine. It actually runs a bit better for dropping it down. I think there was a little bit of stutter when you go out into the real world to begin with, especially because in the real world you've gone from like little enemies that you can fight, little goblins and gnomes and things, and then when you're out in the real world, you're getting pursued by beetles, because the child that owns the book likes to keep beetles and lets them just run around his bedroom. Once the big 3D models of beetles start running around, because at some points you do get multiple of them, that's when it was causing some stutter and slowdown. But dropping the settings helped with that. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's simplistic in its gameplay. It's a little bit easy, and there is kind of two mode settings for it. There's an adventure mode that kind of apes more of a Zelda style. Then there's a story mode that just makes it a much easier game to play through if you've got young kids or anything, or you just can't be bothered
Have you seen
play
the
through it.
accessibility settings?
No, I've not looked at the accessibility settings at all. I never do.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
they're fantastic. Yeah, it has little things like you can turn on invincibility. So if a kid's playing it and they're not so hot, they can just enjoy the adventure. Little things like no enemies and stuff like that. I can't remember what they all are off the top of my head. But yeah, you can flick around and just change parameters in the game to make the gameplay more accessible to you or to like your kid playing it or something. So people of like all levels, even though it's a relatively easy game, as you said, uh, people of like all skill levels can get in, mess around with
Yeah.
the settings, and then enjoy it if they want. And I like that. I think it's a nice addition.
Yeah, those are always really good for trophy hunting as well.
Yeah.
I found that with Last of Us Part 2, especially. You could just like make all the AI dumb and then make all your companion AI super invincible and amazing, and then you just hide in one place and just watch them kill all the people around you. It's like, this is very entertaining to do.
I saw people doing like, you could change the color scheme for like color blindness or something to highlight every item, so people just go around collecting everything in this gray and yellow world.
Makes sense. Yeah, I like when the accessibility options don't affect the trophies at all, because it feels like a legal cheat mode. But yeah, it is a very good game. It is very charming. It's one for all the family. I did find, I mean, now you said about the accessibility options, I did find there was a couple of little bits that I got stuck on, especially early on with the whole beetles thing, because then the game, you can't really fight beetles. It's more of a stealth avoidance type thing.
Oh, okay.
Like instant kill as soon as they find you. So I did struggle with that to begin with, because I wasn't quite getting them like how this is playing out. And then once I got my head around it, then it's a lot easier. But if you got little kids might struggle with something like that. So yeah, that'd be a good one. It's out on pretty much everything. It's on the PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. And I was looking at some of the Nintendo Switch stuff today. It seems to run pretty well on the Switch as well. Again, it's the real world stuff that causes the most issue, but not like game breaking amounts. But if you're looking to pick it up, it's $24.99 on everything except for the Switch, where it's $26.99. Still paying that Switch tax.
And if you've got PlayStation Plus Extra, it's free on there as well.
Because that's included in the subscription. Oh no! It's free. You're paying for the subscription. Tim's jumped in to say he was ejected from this podcast into the real world, which is weird. He said that from beyond the grave. It was crazy.
Ghosts.
He died of a cold. Yeah.
Ghost.
Ghost writer.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. Right. You want to talk about, is it Hollowbody?
Yes.
Which, when you were saying this off mic, I didn't understand what you were saying. I thought you would just go, Hollobobby. You want to see a Hollobobby?
Yeah, so if you're one of the people who played Silent Hill and thought, you know what would make this better if it was cyberpunk and set in Runcorn, then this is the game for you. Developed by Headway Games. Headway Games is one person dev team in the UK. Hollowbody transports you to a bleak future after a catastrophic bioterrorism attack hits the west coast of the British Isles. As the infected towns fall into panic and the authorities and private security companies stepped in to evacuate those who were deemed high-value citizens, fearing the contagion would go beyond the Wirral, huge walls were constructed, and then it was bombarded from orbit just to make sure, really. So this picks up 60 years later. We play as a young woman called Mika, who's looking for someone called Sasha, and I don't know much past that. Only 2 hours in. I don't know who they are in relation to each other, sisters, girlfriends, whatever. I'm just ransacking a council estate in Liverpool at the minute from the looks of it.
Is that why you're only 2 hours in?
Yeah.
You weren't playing the game. You were ransacking a flat in Liverpool.
I've been very busy. I had to get the fast train back here to do this.
Yeah.
You took me away from my Robin and I don't appreciate it. I've got bills to pay and stereos to steal. But so far, it's great. Like, I'm only a couple of hours in. The atmosphere is superb. Like, it's really tense. It's doing that retro, like neo-retro thing that devs have been doing for a few years. Like, so when it's like PS1 or PS2 looking, they do that. So
yeah, we've had a few this
year. Like, it looks nice. The animation and like controls are a bit janky. I found when I switched it to tank control, so like up is forward, back is down is back.
You've answered the question before everyone asked it.
Yeah. And then like left and right rotates you on the spot, and then up, moves you forward. Run, weirdly, is on the trick. I'm playing with the controller, and it's on L1. But if you hold L1 down to run, she just runs without pressing up. So I'm holding R1 to run and then moving her left and right and controlling her like a car. But weirdly, it works. It works well. Combat, it's a mix of guns and like melee.
Gundams.
So Gundams, very Silent Hill. You get the giant mech.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've just picked up a plank of wood with some 9-inch nails in it, and I'm like, that's a reference. You really didn't need to say how long those nails were. So I think I know the kind of guy who's making this game, and I appreciate that. And yeah, the monsters come after you, just weird Silent Hill things. There's a lock on. You don't need to aim really. You just lock on and fire, and then you lock on with your melee attack as well. So I found switching, like starting off with gunfire and then switching to melee to finish them off to conserve ammo. I've played survival horrors before. I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
The puzzles, so all the puzzles that I've encountered so far have been fantastic. So like one, for example, that really made me smile was I'm in this apartment and there's a safe on the wall. There's no documents or anything that says like the safe combination. There's just a photo that says graduation. There's your first clue. And you have to go around and look at all the photos on the wall and be like, well, here's some people graduating, and it says one of them's pregnant. So you keep looking around, and then there's a photo of someone's 30th birthday, but they've got a child, and it says, oh, the child doesn't look much older than this. So you have to look at all the pictures and like a letter from the doctors and stuff and kind of work out, okay, well, she was born at this time. She was this old when the kid was around this age, and she was pregnant with the kid. So the graduate, and you have to work out when you think the graduation year was, and then try it a couple of times, and that's the combination for the safe. I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't holding your hand. That's a really nice environmental puzzle. And then another one picks up a battery, like it's a big broken battery pack, and I'm like, what am I doing with this battery pack? And I looked at the description, and it said, oh, it's broken, it's leaking battery acid. So I'm running around trying to find something to do with this battery, and then I find something that needs melting, and I'm like, oh, battery acid. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's giving you stuff and just making you think a little differently, use things a little differently, and it's great. Like, it does that thing that survival horrors do, where you get that nice bit of time where you're going into rooms, you're finding items, you're fighting monsters, you're solving puzzles, and then you hit a wall, and you're like, oh shit, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what to do. And then I spent about half an hour of that 2 hours that I've played just running in circles trying to figure out where to go until I went back to one of the early areas and went, oh, I can do this now. And then that started pushing me forward again. So it's great so far. Like, I can only speak for a couple of hours. Apparently, it's only about 6, 7, 8 hours, which is great for a survival horror. I don't like it when they outstay the welcome. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. The thing that's really unsettling, though, is because it takes place in the west of England, the streets and tower blocks and everything, it looks like the kind of place that I grew up and had friends who
Yeah.
grew up. So, like, it feels very real in a way that I've not had a survival horror, especially, feel before. Because now I can really, for the first time, put myself in this environment because it's all incredibly familiar to me.
Mm.
And you can tell that it's made by an English dude because just the little attention to detail in the houses and the apartment block and everything. It's quite unsettling. It's really unnerving.
That makes me think that someone should be developing a Portsmouth survival horror because it's already looking a bit like an apocalyptic wasteland these days.
Something that it does that
Economy's not been great.
something that it does that I really like is because of the cyberpunk setting, because it's like 60 something years in the future. you come in a hover car, you're in this big city that all the survivors were taken to, and when you find the first like healing spray thing, she makes a comment about, "Oh, isn't it lucky that we all have nano machines now?" And it's one of the only games that I've seen where they've made a reason for healing spray working. It's like, "Oh yeah, nano machines do this, they fix you up." I'm like, "Ah, you know what? I'll buy it, Cyberpunk, why not? I'm into it."
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
So this is out just PC at the moment.
Yeah, just PC.
That's £14, 29 pence.
29, yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, I like I like this era of retro style where we've just gone to PlayStation 1 now. We've
Yeah,
we've
I'm
had
big
years of
into it.
pixel art, and now we've just gone, okay, now it's time for the now it's time for the polygons.
The big one that did it for me was Signalis that came out year before last. We get another survival horror PS1 looking. Also incredible. If anyone hasn't played it, please do. It's amazing. But that has a
Oh,
similar aesthetic. So yeah, I'm well into
I
it now.
I remember my question now. So you have a dedicated run button.
Yes.
Can you do the cool thing that you could do in the Resident Evil games where you just keep hitting the run button again and again and again, and they do the weird shaky leg thing?
You know what? I'm gonna try that when we get off this podcast. I'll let you know.
Hours of entertainment. Hours, I tell you.
Hours.
Look like ice skating on one leg. It's great. Okay, moving on. Last game we got this week is Gori, Cuddly Carnage, which has been spoken about in this show a couple of times now. I spoke about it at, I think it was the last EGX show, and then Tim spoke about it at, might have been WASD. This one's an interesting one because, again, it's kind of a little bit of a throwback in that I likened it to, was it called Airblade? Can't remember. There was a kind of hoverboard game on the PS2 that I likened it to, but
That sounds about
it's
right.
not. Yeah, it's not really like that. It's more of a hack and slash, but the main hook of the game is it's a hack and slash where you want a cat on a hoverboard, and it's that was enough to sell me because A, I like hoverboards. B, I like cats. We're good to go. And I love hack and slash games as well.
And
So that
unicorns.
kind of, yeah, that's the bit I didn't like. So I played this game in preview and then at an event and found out that the preview build I'd played was basically the same demo that's been on Steam for I think it's like 5 years it's been on there, and a lot of people have referenced it and gone, I haven't really updated this demo.
That's what threw me off about this because I've seen this around for years, like years and years and years, and like how? Yeah, sorry, cutting you off, but I've seen this for so long that I didn't think it was ever coming out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's out now. But the thing I got is it after playing just the preview, playing this at EGX and then playing this on the demo that's on Steam. You go up against unicorns. I'm like, that's funny. And then as you progress the level, it's like now you play against a different kind of unicorns. So now it's the flying unicorns with projectiles. Now it's unicorns with shields. Now it's bigger unicorns. I'm like, oh, this is going to get very repetitive very quickly, and it does.
Yeah,
It's the kind of the saying for this game. It's meant to be in the future where there was a corporation that worked on cool toys, and the more toys rely on computer chips and smarter AI, the more we've created our own downfall, and the toys have risen up against the humans and killed them all, and all that's left is this anthropomorphic cat and a toy hoverboard and like a chip system that can go inside a spaceship. And you're traveling to different areas and trying to build like a super weapon to go up against the toys. And the majority of those toys are unicorns, and then there's a gigantic bear in a box, like a Jack in the Box type thing, but it's got robotic spider legs, and the face has been ripped off the bear, and it's all bloody, and there's gross teeth and tongue inside the box. And that thing's going to keep coming after you in various forms and send different things after you along the way. And then you go off onto these different missions of, it could be wastelands, it could be like factories, it could be there's a section where you're fighting in an arcade and you're going inside different video games. But because of the color palette style, where everything's dark and but then there's all these big neon colors and stuff, it makes everything look the same. And then when you're fighting against the same enemy types, a lot, well, you know, varied types but similar looking, it's that Destiny problem. It gets old very fast. And I don't foresee myself finishing this. I'm like 5 worlds in, and already I've just like, it's lost its luster to me.
How many worlds?
It's only as I don't know in total because I've not
Too
finished it. Yeah. I mean, you might like it. A lot of people are really raving about this. I saw Stephanie Sterling absolutely just waxing lyrical about this a little while ago. I've seen a lot of people give it good reviews, amazing reviews. It's just not clicking with me for some reason, and I don't know why. It's a small team. It's a cheap get. Well, $17.99. It's not badly priced. It's out on pretty much everything again. It's on the PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and I think it's on Nintendo Switch as well. I'm playing it on Steam Deck once again. But yeah, I don't know why. It's just not really hooking into me. The thought, you put all these elements into a blender and you're going to create a cocktail that I want. But I'm going to get sick on it after a glass and a half. So yeah.
It does seem like a bit of a wasted opportunity to have all these worlds set. You know, the story set around toys. Like you could have had each different world could have had a different toy variation of something to fight, like army men or Barbies.
Yeah. And again, the other big hook of this is because it's called Gori, Cuddly Carnage. It's all these cutesy things, but there's lots of blood and guts and swearing, and it's very adult.
So
but
it's Happy Tree Friends.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. But none of the gore, like, I mean, it's a weird thing to complain about. None of it looks particularly good, I think. It's not like gory cool. It's not like gory disgusting. It's just like there. Kind of overdone, not particularly offensive.
Doesn't add anything.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not. Again, a lot of people are really digging this, really getting into this. That, you know, you might find a reviewer that you really you share a lot of similarities with their particular taste, and they've liked this, so you might like it. But on my side, I can't really recommend it. I think it overstays its welcome very quickly.
Right.
Which is a shame.
That's a shame.
I was looking forward to this one. All right. Shall we jump over to the news? We've got a few things to talk about. Yes. I just adjust my screen so I can see the news properly now. Yeah. Funny that. I'm clicking things and they're all going in the wrong area. Here we go. So this one dropped yesterday. So I'd written the agenda up and went, oh, I've missed a thing, because it popped up on my phone and added it like on the last minute. There was Switch 2 images being leaked, which, okay, rumors, salt, pepper, pinches, be very careful. You're not gonna, like, this might be complete cobblers. But there were these images that were leaked onto Reddit showing what looks like could be the next iteration of the Switch, or the Switch predecessor of some form. It's reportedly off the factory line. So we know that there are developers working on the Switch 2 games now, or whatever it's going to be called. We know that it's in production. Well, we know it's in development in some form. We just don't know where it's going to come out, because Nintendo said that this they can make their announcement anywhere between now and March next year. So expect the latter. It looks like a Switch. It looks slimmer. It looks more sleeker. It's got a USB-C port on the top and the bottom of the console this time. Still has the same weird kickstand to it, but it looks like there's two different variations, like an OLED model and an LED model or LCD model. One with the single kickstand and one with the wider kickstand that was brought in later. But I am I am reminded that before the original Nintendo Switch was announced, we did report on a Switch leak of the Nintendo NX that turned out to be complete and utter rubbish. it wasn't the real thing at all, and very quickly got debunked as well. It was some guy that just made a thing up in a 3D print project and went, "Ha ha, fooled the world."
I remember
So
that.
it very well could be this again. Have you looked at the images yourself, Rick?
Yeah, and like you said, it just looks like a Switch, but with a 8-inch screen, I think now instead of a 6 is what they're saying. It's the specs that have got me excited because that thing sounds like it's on par with an Xbox Series S, and if that's true, then that's
It'll be
making
harder to develop for when making multi-platform get. Oh, sorry, talking about the Xbox
it's
still.
yeah, it's going to put it up there with the Steam Deck, which is what I was hoping they'd go for. Was hoping that they were like, no, this handheld and TV market's ours. So now they're trying to hit something like that. I thought honestly it was only going to be as powerful as like a PS4, like maybe a PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
But
that's the specs I was expecting.
yeah, to see it hitting that Series S and a little beyond that has me very excited for what they can potentially do with it, especially if it is backwards compatible, which apparently there is a cartridge slot on the top for Switch games. Because if they can do something with Tears of the Kingdom, for example, and get that running at 60, like
Upscale that blurriness.
yeah, I mean, people seem to be super happy with the fact that the PlayStation 5 Pro is just going to be upscaling PS4 games. So let's get happy with the fact that the Switch 2 is going to be doing the same to Switch games. Like they could get them into some seriously good condition. Not that they're in bad condition, but the performance could be through the roof. And that's what I'm hyped for.
Yeah. Other things of note, along with the specs, magnetic Joy-Cons. So I know a problem I had with the Joy-Con because I played mine probably like 95% in handheld over using it on a screen. I only really used the screen for capturing game footage. But I found over time the Joy-Con rails started to warp from when I was playing in handheld. Also, the bezel cracked on the top. It was like
Really?
slightly warping the whole screen from holding it, I guess, just constantly holding it. But yeah, it was a bit of a mess from just playing the thing in handheld, which is what it's made to do. So hopefully it's a more secure way of holding everything in place, which would be nice. But yeah, we'll see as time goes on what's going to happen with the rumored Switch 2, or the Super Nintendo Switch, as I hope they call it.
Yeah, I was going to say the Super Switch, but then that gets down to like abbreviated to SS, and that could be a problem.
That can
So-
be an
so
issue.
let's
But you have to
not.
remember, it's not the Switch, it's the Nintendo Switch.
The
They're
Nintendo
very big
Switch.
on making sure you call it the Nintendo Switch and not the Switch.
I just hope that we get something like before we get an announcement before the PS5 Pro comes out, and Nintendo come out and go, "Here's the Switch 2, set the price to like 500, and take some of the people who are like, you know what, I think I'll get a PS5 Pro. They're going to see that and go, I've been waiting for the Switch 2. I think I'll wait
Hmm.
because I'm petty
Apparently,
and I don't like that 700 price tag. Really angry about it.
Just a quick aside, apparently Angry Demon Studio may have been watching our stream. I think they might have logged off again. They are the developers of Gori, Cuddly Carnage. Oops.
Well, I guess that proves you're not a shill.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I
Yeah,
bought
there
it
you
myself, so, you know.
Doubly not a shill. There you go.
Yeah. Yes. PlayStation 5. I'm looking forward to the PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't know about you, Rick, but I've got a big stash of disk drives waiting to go on eBay. Quite a high markup.
I've bought 7 already, pre-ordered.
Yeah.
And then I'm planning on buying a house with the profit. Or Taylor
Okay.
Swift tickets, whatever comes out first.
You can't afford that with a house first. Sell more houses, then you can get Taylor Swift tickets.
I'm struggling to get Linkin Park tickets. That stuff's bad enough.
Anywho, yes, in a move that no one is surprised by other than why did it take so long, it was officially announced, I think, yesterday as we're recording, The Pokemon Company and Nintendo are teaming up to sue the Palworld developer Pocket Pair. Who could have foreseen this?
Long time coming. What's interesting though is it's over patent infringement, not copyright infringement.
Yes, which
That's
they
what
did. Yeah, they've said it's infringing on multiple patent rights. However, apparently they've not divulged what those patents are to the developer themselves. So Pocket Pair have put out a statement on Twitter acknowledging that they are being sued, aren't sure what they're infringing upon, and have kind of apologized for the fans because it now puts the game in uncertainty. I played this game on the PC. I got my enjoyment out of it. I didn't really stick with it too long. I probably got like 30 hours out of it. I enjoyed it for what it was at the time, but it didn't really have the staying power for me. However, looking at the comments on the statement on Twitter, I see it has its diehard fans, and they are really diehard fans.
The thing that's interesting with this is some people on Twitter discovered that in 2021, Nintendo patented the mechanic of throwing an item and catching a monster in said item. So a lot of people
But
are
that's
thinking it's...
I've played that in other games, though.
Yep. But that's what they tried to do or did in 2021, which is when the reveal trailer for Palworld was released in the June of 2021. So
I see.
they could go and say, well, actually, this game was in development before this patent kicked in, blah, 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 blah. It gets thrown out. But I was watching a YouTube channel, Dreamcast Guy, earlier, and he made a very good point saying that if this goes through and Nintendo win, it sets a very dangerous precedent for what can and can't be done for game development.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Nemesis system in the
Yes,
Mordor
like a really
games?
cool innovation that would be great in lots of different games. However, Warner Brothers patented it and
it couldn't be used anywhere. So if Nintendo can go through and do this and show the world that no, actually you can now patent mechanics that have been used in various other games before, that's going to be a real issue for game development going forward, because pretty soon everyone's going to be trying to patent everything and everything's going to be an infringement on what came before it. And that's
look at
bad news for
Bandai
everyone.
Namco. Bandai Namco painted the mini games and loading screens, and that's a really cool thing that we never got to use. I think there's been like a very small amount of cases where people have got away with using it, but that patent's now run out, so we're good, or it's been overturned. Or whatever. I think they got 20 years out of it.
It's dumb. To me, it just kind of reeks of desperation. Like, I think Nintendo would have left Palworld well alone if it wasn't for the fact that it did so well. And the fact that it had such a big boom when it came out. It was headlines for weeks. People are still playing it now. Yeah, there's been a huge drop-off, but it has already generated millions of dollars in revenue for the developers. And I think that's what made Nintendo go, actually, we need to try and do something about this, because this could be a legitimate competitor to Pokemon, even though the audiences are completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. The interesting thing as well is I think this lawsuit has come at probably 2 days after the rumors of it coming to PlayStation 5, because it's still not on PS5. It's Xbox Series X and S and PC at the moment, which has caused some issue because I think the reason I kind of dropped off as well is I wanted to play this in multiplayer, but people that are playing this on the Xbox and people that are playing this on the Game Pass PC Pass, you can't play with Steam players, which is what I am. I didn't really want to do multiple versions. I couldn't move my save across and all that stuff. So anyway, we'll see what happens going on with that. I'll gloss over this one quickly. It was more to say, hey, EA, they can be a bit shady. Who knew? EA have they've done their like investor presentation where they did a 3-hour presentation on stage where you would have thought this was about this was an AI company that were putting on the presentation because the whole thing was pretty much AI. And EA CEO Andrew Wilson on stage going, crikey, ain't AI great? He's Australian, if you didn't know. Ain't AI great? We use it in everything now. 60% of EA's development process could now be impacted by generative AI. One of the things he was citing was it's not NFL, is it college football? I think like the
Right.
side game they make. Sorry, College Football 25. That could not have been created without using AI tools because they used it to build over 150 unique stadiums and 11,000 player likenesses. I feel you could have done it without AI.
It's been done every year before. Different games have done it.
Forget college football. Don't you make Madden and FIFA, or they're not called FIFA anymore, or whatever it's called now. Yeah. Not great, but also they were citing uses of it in creating new developer tools for assists in using voice and text comments, also using it in The Sims and other things, and it was all pretty gross. But anyway, hey, EA laid off 5% of their workforce, so you know.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the kickback on this is going to be because there's been strikes and stuff recently to do with video game voice actors and clauses for AI and stuff. This spits in the face of what they're fighting for, especially down to the point of using generative AI for voices for characters and things. So I really hope that something that the strikes and stuff are going to agree on can put a blocker on certain aspects of this.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff over the whole SAG-AFTRA strikes last year, which heavily impacted not just the movies, but TV, video games. You know, we've had writer strikes before, and it was very much threatened that because we went writers to actors, that voice actors would be the next to do it. The strike was lifted, but we're now gearing up for a big voice actor strike going forward. And a lot of this is AI again. It's stealing people's intellectual property. In some cases, their actual voices and manipulate. And you know, I mess around with AI myself. I've used it to make a Tim and a Dan and myself, and I have a laugh with it. But it's not something I'm going right. I'm gonna replace my two co-hosts and monetize the podcast, and I will talk to two robots for the rest of the time. You know, I like messing around with AI to use as a tool, to use for little personal project, muck around with it. There's no way I would be charging people for AI generated content because it's not artificial intelligence. It's an algorithm going out there scraping from other people's work. Yeah, it's stolen content. Like one of the bigger things, is it Google's AI? I think it was. Yeah, it's Google's AI. There was a big thing where they went, hey, we've been training it off of our own products. And like, what? Like YouTube? Like people's content from YouTube? How long you been doing that for? And turns out quite a while. So
insulted, I wasn't on that list, to be honest. I'm like, what? Am I not big enough for you? All right.
I'll make a Rick AI.
No, please don't.
I'll make a Rick AI.
You won't.
AI Rick coming to BRB UK soon. Also, we're Patreon funded now.
Oh no.
That's where all the AI episodes go. Yeah, it's pretty crap. Lastly, this week, we'll end on a high. If you're a massive fan of Skate and you've been waiting for the return, because they did announce that the EA are working on a new Skate. They did not announce when it was coming. We finally got something sort of concrete. It's going to launch in early access some point in 2025. So if you're looking forward to Skate, there you go. I have never played a Skate game. I was a Tony Hawk boy, and I was very adamant that I will only play Tony Hawk. And I think now is the time that I might try a Skate game. However, if it's been created with AI assets, then screw them.
I was going to make a connection. Yeah, I've played, I think, first Skate on 360, and it was cool because it uses the analog sticks to control your board like feet. So
something they tried to add to Tony Hawk horribly.
Yeah, and it was difficult. It was more sim than arcade. Like Tony Hawk had the arcadey style market, and Skate definitely hit the sim style because it's a very different kind of skate game. And The thing is, though, that I'm worried about is that so many other games on like indie scenes or like AA games have had this idea of using that kind of control mechanic that like and have come out and not been that great. Is there really a market for skate anymore? Because it's been so long since the last game, and whenever people are talking about oh skate game, skate game, skate game, it's always Tony Hawk that's brought up as they want a new Tony Hawk in the style of 1, 2, and 3, not the other stuff. It's like we need a new Tony Hawk, we want a new Tony Hawk.
I
Skate
I,
comes in
I know full well
occasionally.
that there has been a big calling for Skate to return for a very long time. Even so much that people just started in droves buying Skate 3 when the backwards compatibility hit for the Xbox One and managed to get it back into sales charts. So there is a calling for it. I don't know how big it is, but it's going to make some sales.
Yeah, I'm afraid that a lot of people are going to be disappointed by it as well. To be honest, because
Oh,
if you've been
probably.
waiting
I mean,
so
it's
long for
launching in early
something,
access.
yeah, it feels like the build up to it's been because they announced it at E3 like 2, 3 years ago or something silly, and then dead air for ages after. It's been mentioned once or twice since then. Now there's this announcement for the with the pre-alpha stuff. Yeah, I something that's been in the pot for that long, it has the potential to be the Duke Nukem Forever of skate games.
It's about to say Duke Nukem Forever. What are you talking about? We're all loving Duke Nukem Forever still. It's amazing. Hail to the Cheat King, baby.
I don't know who you are anymore, Chris.
John St. John. Hail to the king, baby. Bow down and kiss the ring. And I don't wear jewelry.
Pretty good impression, to be fair. A little bit macho man, but I dig it.
Oh, yeah.
Tim's
What you
not
got
here.
to
You
do?
can do as many macho man impressions
All
as
you
you
got
want,
to
and
do
no
is
one
stick your
can stop
tongue
you.
in the back of your throat, and then you got a John St. John.
I tried to do that, and then they revived me.
All right, let's get with the wrap up of the show. That's all the news we've got this week, and that is all the stuff to do with video games in general.
What a
So all is
depressing
left to
news week.
do skate.
Yeah, all right. There's the one silver lining in a storm cloud of disasters.
I mean, we didn't mention recent layoffs this week.
Yeah,
All of
that's
Annapurna
true.
walked out. That was quite amusing.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, very weird. And the fact that
PlayStation announced a 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 that's going to be grey like the basically what they did with the PlayStation 4.
yeah, I saw that before before we went live, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm glad we're not talking about that because who cares?
Well, some people care. When
I've
they did the,
got a
I
tin of
looked
primer
because when they
downstairs
did,
that will make it that color for you for free.
well, when they did the PlayStation 4 anniversary PlayStation, they set up a pop up in London and were selling them for £19.94. So when I saw the announcement, I was like, "Oh, are they gonna say something?" They didn't. Screw 'em.
My friend Chris got one. He won one. I think it was GameSpot or something. They had a competition where you had to tweet a photograph of your PlayStation collection,
Yeah.
and the best wins. Chris is a hardcore Sony fanboy. Has been since the PlayStation 1 launched. He's got like 10 years on us as well, so he was working and buying his own stuff. And he's kept everything over the 30 years, or back then it would be like 20 years. So over the 20 years that he's been collecting, he's kept everything. He was like, all right, photo. And they were like, here's a PlayStation, you nerd. So that's how he got his PS4, which is pretty cool.
Well, I remember when I heard about it, I was at Tabletop Tuesday, and someone went, "Hey, if you go to this pop up, they're giving away PlayStation, or they're selling them for this price." I was like, "That's insane! All you need is something PlayStation related to take with you." I went, "I've got a Vita in my pocket." Okay, and then I messaged my boss and I went, "Hey, can I do this?" He went, "No, get to work, and if you're late, I'll know why." And then I went in and I explained like what the whole thing was. He went, "Oh, you should have said that. Yeah, I would let you have that off." Anywho, Right, where were we? Tabletop Tuesday. Let's talk about that. No, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about tpublic.com/stores/BRB, because that's where you can buy merch for bigredbarrel.com. Over there, we have t-shirts, mugs, stickers, face masks, if you're still that way inclined. Lots of things you can pick up, not just Big Red Barrel related, video games in general. We got Sonic merch on there. We got Street Fighter, all stuff that we have not yet been copyrights claimed on just yet.
All stuff that you've not been cleared to use, but
yes, but it's all stuff that's been created by artists that they get a kickback from the stuff that's been created. But also we do have Big Red Barrel stuff, and we do have stuff with Dan's face on it. So of course you can buy stuff with Dan's face on it, because Dan is a man with his face on a t-shirt who says "eating my dust," and I couldn't find the drop in time. This one here.
My name's Daniel. I'm 14 years old. I burnt Chrissy up in the first round, and the rest of you are going to be left eating my dust.
How does he sound the same as he did when he was 14?
He just sounds sped up. It's insane. Yeah. When I edit the podcast, I edit it at a faster speed, 1.80, and I found that Dan just sounds like teenage Dan. But when I've slowed it, when I've tried to work out an isolation thing, he sounds like Jeremy Clarkson, which is hilarious to me and really annoying to him. Anywho, tpublic.com/stores/BRB. Go over there, check out the Big Red Barrel merch. Now we will talk about Tabletop Tuesday, because Tuesday is a Tuesday, and that is when we go to the loading bar in Stoke, Newington, and play tabletop games. And each and every week, with the Tabletop Tuesday, you can go play a featured game if there is a featured game to be played, and you'll get entered into a prize draw for playing that game, and at the very end of the night, you could take that game home with you. Doesn't that sound fun, Rick?
It sounds so much fun, I can't contain myself.
Well, this one, I've got a feeling they came up with a name before they came up with the game. It's Puns of Anarchy. Puns of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 Tim didn't write it on the agenda, so I just messaged him with, what's the Tabletop Tuesday game? I have no idea what Puns of Anarchy is. That will be for you to find out this Tuesday at Tabletop Tuesday at the loading bar in StokeNewington.com. Go on to meetup.com, table-top-Tuesdays, or go to bigredbarrel.com. There is an advertisement on the home page. Well, on all the pages, I think, unless you go onto a review, then the sidebar goes missing. But it'll be there on the mobile view. It'll be there on the website view. Click that. That will take you to the Tabletop Tuesday page, and you can find out all the information you need if Tim has put it on there, which he's not yet. I did check beforehand. But it'll probably be up tomorrow or tonight. We'll see.
Amateur.
He did die, so give him a break.
Poltergeist we discussed this earlier. If he can type, he can upload. Can't he? He can find out what Puns of Anarchy is and let everyone know about Tabletop Tuesday this Tuesday coming up. Puns of Anarchy, let's go.
Yes, go there and go see Ghost Tim.
Crap Ghosty is.
Ghost
If he's
Tim.
not wearing a sheet over himself when he's there next week, then kill him.
He's already dead. He's a ghost. Ghost Tim.
Mate.
Ghost Tim.
This Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Throw it the item and catching the thing. Is that going to affect Ghostbusters games in the future?
You're not throwing them at the ghost, though. You're throwing a trap
them in that
underneath the
general
ghost.
direction, ain't you?
And you kind of roll it. You roll it. It's got little wheels on the bottom of it.
Ah, loophole.
There you go. BigRedBarrel.com is the place to be. That is where we host this here podcast and also other things of that nature. We've got some podcasts coming up soon. We have videos and written work and all these kind of things you can go check out on BigRedBarrel.com. Once again, go check that out. It's very cool. It looks nice now. We love it. While you're there, we have links to our socials. You can check us out on Xbox, Threads, and Facebook at Big Red Barrel. We're also available on Twitch at Big Red Barrel and on YouTube at Big Red Barrel TV. Please check us out on YouTube because a lot of effort goes into these videos and it would be nice if you watched them. And also, go check out our Discord. There's a link on bigredbarrel.com. Go there. You can ask us questions. You can comment on the show. You can call us all a bunch of if you really wanted to. I mean, you can do it on any of the platforms, really, but we like Discord. It's very conversational on Discord. It's like a forum. It's like the old Big Red Barrel forums, but it's Discord. And there's voice chats, and there's gamer nights, and there's all that kind of stuff. Do you like Destiny?
Love it.
Talk to the Destiny guys who play Destiny. Huh?
Come and join the Ultramarines and slay heretics with me. That'll be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Slay Queen.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Good.
Very
I
cool.
thought so. Shall we get out of here?
I mean, you could always plug my YouTube channel.
But I was getting to that. Plug your stuff.
What's my channel? Yeah, youtube.com/
Game
Game
Cupboard.
Cupboard. I do
Stuff.
retrospectives and reviews. I've got some stuff coming up. I've been distracted though because I've been playing Space Marine 2. I really need to put something out. I've got a retrospective on Mega Man Legends on the PlayStation 1 coming out. I've got a more rambly review for Visions of Mana that'll be coming out when that's finished. That's nearly done with the game, I think. Yeah, a full review of Hollowbody, but I'll probably put a written version of some kind of that onto BigRedBarrel.com as well. And yeah, Space Marine 2.
Space Marine 2.
See, I can pull myself away from playing it to actually write about it. I'll get one of those up as well. I've got quite a lot of stuff in the works. I just keep getting distracted and work 14-hour days, so I'll put it out when it's out.
It's ready when it's ready. We like that.
Ready when it's ready, yeah.
And we like that. We do. All right. Now we can get out of here. Now you've successfully plugged yourself.
Good, because it's so warm in here.
It's really warm. And I'm wearing a jumper like an idiot. All right. This has been BRB UK episode 604. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Rick, for jumping in and being my combined what's the word? Not enormous. Thank you for being my combined version of Tim and Dan this week.
Homunculus? No.
Let's call you a homunculus. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a homunculus. Back when I was a young homunculus. I thought one day I'll be podcasting with Rick from the Gaming Cupboard on BigRedBarrel.com.
Best day of my life this week.
I thought so. I'm glad.
The best Tuesday I've had all week.
We'll be back next week, hopefully with a full team, but if not, we'll think of something. But for this week, I have been Coleman.
I have been Rick.
And we will catch you next time, dear listeners, dear viewers. Goodbye.
Your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
Is that something
he's from
you're going to drop knowledge on me?
He's like a little lovable spaceman. Like an astronaut, but like a robot. Look at him.
I guess they don't make that clear, though. They've never made that clear in any of the games. And I'm surprised they haven't.
All right, Tim, I've got another question. Why are you called Tim?
Hey.